former Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oulanyah, picks his nomination forms today. We are curious to know what is next in this speakership race. We have the report in a bulletin today. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Nahabe Kajura, and in the headlines. President Museveni has said corrupt officials in the airline must face consequences. And President Museveni and Samia conclude the signing of oil pipeline deal. And Ethiopia postpones elections again to 21st June. And in our sports today, Makalama Musinguzi to take charge of Uganda Rugby Cranes. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Now, Africa Today starts with the former Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oulanyah, who has said it is high time the image of Parliament is redeemed after being tarnished. This was after picking the nomination forms at the party headquarters in Chadondo. Our reporter has more.
There has been a stalemate for a long time on the choice of candidate in the speakership race for the ruling NRM party. The speakership race has seen largely between Rebecca Kadaga, who has been speaker for 10 years, and Jacob Oulanyah, who has been deputy for 10 years. It was not confirmed yet that Honorable Oulanyah Jacob will stand for speaker against Honorable Rebecca Kadaga until he arrived today at the party headquarters to pick the forms for nominations. Oulanyah was accompanied by his NRM party members who were putting on party uniforms, waving the flags and singing songs that praise their candidate. Oulanyah entered the building for the nomination process and later on came out to address the journalists on his next move in regards to speakership race. Just like on Friday, after swearing in, the former Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oulanyah, has said it is high time the image of Parliament is redeemed after being tarnished. Oulanyah insisted that there was a decision made by the party's top organ in 2016 regarding the speakership race, adding that whereas he was not comfortable with the decision, he accepted to honor it. According to the Omoro County MP, it is high time the 11th Parliament got a speaker who will stick to their word and not one who changes colors like a chameleon. He noted that in the past 5 years, the public has resented Parliament, but noted it is high time this is reversed. The Central Executive Committee, which is the top organ of the ruling National Resistance Movement Party, sat today to determine the fate of the speakership race, and on Sunday, the NRM members will sit also to choose their candidates for both Speaker and his deputy, whom they will vote on Monday 24th in the first sitting of the 11th Parliament.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter Najuma. Now, President Museveni has said corrupt officials in the management and board of the airline must face consequences. We have more on this report.
The president's flight on Uganda Airlines came at a time when it has attracted a lot of negative publicity because of alleged corruption and mismanagement. The Works and Transport Minister General Katumba Wamala at the end of last month suspended senior airlines managers, including the Chief Executive Officer Conwell Mleya. Others on suspension are Joseph Sebowa, the Head of Human Resources, Paul Turiachaisanga, the Finance Director, Harvey Kalema, the Manager Ground Handling Operations, and Bruno Origi, the Director of Safety Compliance. Others are Moses Wangala, Head of Procurement and Assets Disposal, and Alex Kakoza, the airline's first captain. While interacting with the flight crew after landing at Entebbe International Airport, Museveni said that some elements in the management of Uganda Airlines and the board must face the consequences regarding the alleged corruption, according to a short video he has tweeted this morning. The airline that is bedeviled by corruption and mismanagement is barely 2 years old. It launched its regional maiden flight in September 2019 before the pandemic hit. The Auditor's General Report for the 2019-2020 financial year revealed that the airline made losses of 102 billion shillings, a sharp rise from 15 billion shillings registered in the financial year 2018-2019.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter. Now, the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and Samia of Tanzania yesterday witnessed the long-awaited signing of an agreement between the government of Tanzania and investors of the East African crude oil pipeline in the capital of Dar es Salaam. We have the report.
This is the second signing after the April 11th signing in Uganda's capital, Kampala, and it will be the last signing agreement, popularly known as the Host Agreement. The two countries signed the Host Government Agreement, Shareholder Agreement for the pipeline company, and Tariff Agreements. The Thursday signing was done between the Tanzania government and Total Limited and its partner, the Chinese state-owned company Sinopec, and will see the investors get equal dividends according to an earlier agreement. According to Tanzanian officials, this will be the last HGA agreement that will allow the project to commence immediately from Hoima, Uganda to Chongoleani Peninsula in Tanga Port, covering a stretch of 1,445 kilometers. President Museveni became the first head of state visiting Tanzania since President Samia was sworn in on March 19, 2021.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter. Now, moving on, Makerere University has today graduated the 50th and the last batch of its students on the 71st graduation ceremony conducted scientifically in the Freedom Square. We have the report.
Students from the College of Engineering, Design, Art and Technology and College of Humanities and Social Sciences have graduated today. Among the graduates was the African Development Bank Group President Dr. Akinyumi Adesina, who received an honorary doctorate of Makerere University. Ahead of the last day of the 71st graduation ceremony of Makerere University, the Vice Chancellor of Makerere University held a one-on-one meeting with the African Development Bank Group President Dr. Akinyumi Adesina. The 5-day ceremony that has ended today has seen over 12,000 students graduating. Due to COVID-19 guidelines, it was only the PhD graduates, master's degree and first-class undergraduate graduates who were authorized to be physically present in the Freedom Square for the function.
Well, congratulations to the graduates who have made it today. We wish you the best in the step you're taking on. Well, let's go for a quick break. We should come back with our international news. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. Now, in our international news today, a new government cabinet in the Republic of Congo has attracted reactions following the appointment of Christel, a son of the country's president, Denis Nguesso, in his 60th term. We have the report.
The reactions come after the appointment of a new Prime Minister, Anatole Colinet Makoso, with 11 new ministers, including Denis Christel Sassou, son of the Congolese president Denis Sassou Nguesso. According to the new government, Denis Christel Sassou will oversee the management of international cooperation and the promotion of public-private partnership. Noteworthy in the new cabinet is the recall of the former Minister of Finance, Rigobert Roger Andlé, nicknamed Red Bike, having built a reputation during his tenure between 2002 and 2005. Also in the cabinet is a member of the opposition appointed as Minister of Energy and Hydraulics.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter. Now, moving on, Egypt is now prioritizing the vaccination of tourism workers to support the sector's recovery, and it's on track to announce full inoculation of 2 resort areas this month, according to the country's tourism minister. Our reporter has more.
Tourism and Antiquities Minister Khalid Al-Enan, while on the sidelines of a travel industry conference in Dubai, said that while Egypt's tourism industry is still reeling from the COVID-19 pandemic, the sector has picked up in recent months, with more visitors heading to resorts along the Red Sea and Mediterranean coasts. He added that he will announce, along with the Minister of Health, the complete vaccination of Egyptian workers in hotels, resorts, businesses and restaurants in South Sinai and the Red Sea, followed by Luxor, Aswan and the capital Cairo, home of the Giza pyramids and major museums. Cairo has announced several major new archaeological discoveries in recent months, hoping to revive a sector which was battered by 2011 uprising, political unrest, and jihadist attacks. Egypt reopened to foreign tourists in July last year after having closed its borders in March. Visitors only need to produce a negative PCR test.
Well, moving on in Ethiopia, the Electoral Commission has announced that it has postponed the country's general elections again and given a new date for the 21st of June 2021 due to logistical obstacles. Our reporter has more.
The second most populous country in Africa, Ethiopia, was initially due to vote in August 2020, but the ballot which designates national and regional elected officials was postponed to June 5, 2021 due to the coronavirus pandemic. On Sunday, the Electoral Commission announced a further delay to the vote due to logistic obstacles without immediately setting a new date. Although 36 million voters have been registered in Ethiopia, no one has been registered to vote in some areas affected by ethnic violence, including the most populous area of the country, Oromia and Amhara. Several opposition parties, including a party from Oromia region where Abiy is from, have announced that they will boycott the elections, claiming that their candidates have been arrested and their premises vandalized.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter. Now, moving on in Amsterdam, the Rijksmuseum has opened an exhibition of slavery to the Republic, which seeks to shed light on the cruelty of slavery and the wealth of Dutchmen and women who profited from the evil trade. We have the report.
According to Valika Smulders, head of the Rijksmuseum's History Department, the story on the display centers on 10 people who lived in that era, who were slave owners, who were enslaved, and those were the people who spoke out against the system. Simply called slavery, the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam Museum, which has been open to the public, uses songs and oral sources which visitors can listen to on an audio tour to fill the gaps where no records exist. The exhibition is timely amid questions raised by the Black Lives Matter movement in 2020, and the curators at the museum want to begin an honest conversation in a country still reckoning with its role in colonialism. Amsterdam had a crucial role to play in the global slave trade, which is evidenced by the stately mansions lining which attest to the fortunes often made by traders with the use of slave labor. The Netherlands have never formally apologized for its role in the slave trade.
You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. Now, Africa Today takes a quick break. We shall come back with our business news. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. Now, in Africa Today Business, Director of Chinese Foreign Ministry's Africa Department, Wu Peng, has called out on the international community to increase its assistance in COVID-19 vaccination distribution in Africa. Our reporter has more.
Wu Peng, Director General of the Africa Department at the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs, said during a briefing in Beijing on Thursday that unlike some countries that have said they have to wait for their own people to finish vaccination before they could supply the vaccines to foreign countries, China ensures that other countries need vaccine help. This promise comes just one day after the pledge made at the end of the summit on financing African economies that was hosted by France in Paris, where heads of state promised to lift patents to allow Africa to produce its own vaccines. Egypt, who previously received several shipments of Sinovac vaccines from China, will start locally producing China's COVID-19 vaccine in June, with Sinovac enabling the Egyptian side to obtain the expertise and technical assistance to produce the vaccine, giving the license to manufacture and pack the vaccine in Egypt.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter. Now, away from business, in Africa Today Health, the former Minister of Health, Dr. Ruth Aceng, has received her second dose of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine today morning and appealed to all Ugandans to take COVID-19 very seriously.
While receiving her second COVID-19 jab today morning at the Minister of Health headquarters in Kampala, Honorable Aceng urged all those who received their first dose and completed 8 weeks to visit a designated vaccination facility and receive their second dose, assuring them that the vaccine is safe and effective.
I would actually encourage you to take your jab today if you have not taken it, because even the first dose alone will protect you much more than if you don't get vaccinated.
Aceng also cautioned Ugandans on their reluctancy about the standard operating procedures, calling upon the general public to take COVID-19 serious before the situation worsens.
If people are not careful, we may end up losing many more people than we did before, because apparently Ugandans seem to have forgotten that we have COVID-19 and people are back to their normal life. People don't want to wear masks. People don't want to sanitize. They don't want to social distance. And COVID-19 is affecting everyone, even the children. We have children in our isolation facilities. So my humble appeal to you is to take this issue very seriously and protect yourself. The standard operating procedures work, and they work very well.
The former Deputy Speaker of the Ugandan Parliament, Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, after receiving his second vaccine, asked people to get vaccinated so that they don't lose the opportunity while the vaccine is still available.
We are seeking out from other countries. We are trying to make our own. So there's so much uncertainty in the supply of these vaccines that any opportunity you get, you must get it. Don't ignore, look out, and they'll call you to come and have vaccination. Please respond and have yourself vaccinated. It's very important.
Among those who received their second COVID-19 dose included the former Foreign Minister and Maugola North Member of Parliament, Honorable Sam Kutesa, the Minister of Health spokesperson, Ainebiona Emmanuel, and World Health Organization Country Representative, Dr. Tegegnuak Getu. Uganda has so far vaccinated 472,617 people out of the 964,000 doses of vaccines that were received earlier. Nalgo Muyingo, Africa Today.
Well, in Africa Today Sports, Uganda Rugby Union has appointed Brian Makalama and Robert Musinguzi to take charge of the Uganda Rugby Cranes in the absence of head coach Robert Seguya, who is currently hospitalized. The announcement was made as a summoned training squad of over 70 players get ready for their first session on the Saturday morning at Chadondo Rugby Club. We have the report.
Makalama assumes the role of head coach with immediate effect, and Musinguzi will be his assistant. The latter is the head coach at Black Pirates Rugby Club, while for last season, the former was providing technical assistance to Buffaloes Rugby Club. Makalama has said he is curious to see which players will honor the call-up and is excited to meet them at the first session on Saturday. On the other hand, Musinguzi has expressed his delight at the opportunity to be chosen to work with the national team setup. Makalama and Musinguzi both donned the precious Uganda Rugby Cranes jersey during their playing days. Makalama a front row forward, while Musinguzi was a halfback. Head coach Robert Seguya continues his treatment at the Mulago National Hospital.
Now, before we end our bulletin, let's have a recap of our top stories. President Museveni has said corrupt officials in the airline must face consequences. And President Museveni and Samia conclude the signing of oil pipeline deal. And Ethiopia postpones elections again to 21st June. And in our sports today, Makalama Musinguzi to take charge of Uganda Rugby Cranes. That was the news on TV Africa. Thank you so much for joining us from where we started from. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We shall keep updating you. It is TV Africa, the right to know.
This is Africa, and that was the news.